Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. Hope you are doing fine wherever you are. So today we are going to look into our topic for week 4. So we are going to touch two chapters, chapter 4 and chapter 5. So this is part 1. So we are going to look at chapter 4, understanding research philosophy and approaches to theory development. So before we start, if you remember last week's class, we have touched into how to write a critical literature review. So you can pause this video and read this example first. And after you have read that, you can start this video again so that we can look into what are the issues that we have with this literature review. So you can pause the video now. Okay, after you have read all of the paragraph just now, what do you think about the literature review that I have given you previously? Is there any problems or issues with the literature? Is there any issues with the content or the structure? Please state your reason. You can do this by pausing the video and unpause when you are ready. So if you have done the exercise, some of the things that we can see here is maybe the content of the literature review. For example, the literature review looks into doing using bibliography approach or also time frame. But here, what the author has done is only highlighting what other works has been done previously. So how it can improve it is by doing an analysis or evaluative approach, by putting the voice, okay, the voice of the researcher. Okay, so the voice of the researcher is important here because we want to know how you interpret what you have read, not just putting what other people have done. Okay, that is the most important thing. And in terms of content, that is one of the problems. In terms of the structure, maybe you need to have the references, okay, at the end of the sentence, maybe here or maybe here, okay? So you can have a look at other better literature review and to compare with the ones that I've given you, okay? So let's continue for this class, okay? So for this class, we are going to touch on 4 things. Okay, so first we are going to look into the introduction on how we define our research. Okay, look into the ontology, okay, epistemology, and some axiology. Okay, the second one is we are going to look at research paradigm. Okay, we need to understand the main research paradigms, okay, and the significance to business research, and most importantly to PSM. Okay, so there are various research paradigms, but you must bear in mind that you have to choose the ones that are suitable to be conducted for your PSM research, right? So the next one, we are going to do philosophical positions. We will look into the types of the philosophical positions, and of course bear in mind which one is suitable with PSM research, okay? And finally, we will do some reflection so that you can do the right choice, okay, for your PSM research. Okay, so now let's look at the next slide. So here from W. Edwards Deming, okay, you can Google who W. Edwards Deming is. He's a notable person, but I would not like to give you who he is here. You have to Google him. So he said, without data, you are just another person with an opinion. So the key word here is data. So data can come from 2 sources, which is the primary data and secondary data. So the last class we talked about literature review, conducting literature review. Literature review is secondary data. So once you collected your own data through survey or maybe interview, that will become your primary data. Okay, let's have a look at the introduction of this class. Okay, so we look into ontology and epistemology. Okay, so here we can have a look at the research onion. So this is the most important part of doing research and when you are choosing your methodology. So this one I will like to highly suggest you to memorize. Okay, so memorize and also understand. All right, understand. So because this is the heart of your research. So for the first part of this lecture, we are going to touch on the philosophy and also approach to theory development, which are the two first layers of the onion or the research onion. Okay, so let's have a look at first developing your research philosophy. So when we say it is a reflexive approach, it is something to do with three things, which is your beliefs and assumptions, your research philosophies, and also your research design. If you can see here, it is like a cycle. So you can start from anywhere. Maybe you have a certain beliefs or assumption. This one starts first, and then maybe you have a particular research design in mind, or then only you will think of your research methodology. Okay. However, you can also start from here, maybe research design first, beliefs and assumption, and then research philosophy. So that is what we call reflexive process, whereby you can start anywhere, but you need to have all of these three elements to ensure that you choose the right research philosophy. Okay, so now we are going to look into ontological, epistemological, and axiological. So ontological looks into assumptions about the nature of the reality, your reality. Okay, so looking into what is happening out there, what is the outside scenario, okay, the reality, what is presented to you. So epistemology is something that you come to know of once you have learned something, once you have gained more knowledge about something. Okay, so axiological refers to the values and ethics within that research process. So when you do a research, okay, any research, it must be based on these three things. Okay, the nature of the reality, the knowledge that you have regarding that particular topic, and also you need to put into consideration the values and ethics of doing that particular research. Okay, so I would always like to give an example for you to get a better understanding. So let's have a look at this pyramid. Okay, so if you can look at the slide, if you can see how to differentiate the ontology and also the epistemology. How do you know that this is a pyramid? So in terms of the ontology perspective, okay, what is a pyramid? What are the characteristics of a pyramid? When you see this picture, sometimes you can question, is this the real pyramid in Egypt maybe? And then you can also know in terms of reality, there are also pyramids in other locations other than Egypt. We also have a pyramid in Malaysia, but it is not a historical pyramid. We have Sunway Pyramid. It's a shopping center. Okay, so how do you know from this picture that this is not a Sunway Pyramid? Okay, so ontology is something that once you look into it, you know the reality of it. And maybe here we can see some pictures here. If you can see, there's maybe people here, or there are camels. Okay, and you can see also the color of the sand. Okay, so indicating that this is maybe somewhere in the desert. So here your ontology tells you that this may be the pyramid in Egypt. Okay. But in terms of epistemology is when you learn more about pyramid, okay? So you can differentiate the shape. So maybe a pyramid you learn in a math class, okay? What are the characteristics of a pyramid? It must have a square base, okay? It must have like a top there, okay? So that is a pyramid. You know that this is a pyramid shape, okay? And from your knowledge, you also know where the location is, what is a pyramid actually, okay? Who builds the pyramid and so on. So that is the epistemology behind it. So when you talk about the values and ethics of building maybe pyramids or the issues relating to building a pyramid, that is what we call the axiology approach. Okay, so now let's have a look at the research paradigm. All right. So what is research paradigm? So research paradigm understands the main research paradigm that are significant for your business research. Okay. So what is the importance of understanding your research paradigm? So here we can look at the 4 paradigms of our organizational analysis. So if you are a radical change type of research, okay, when you want to do a radical change type of research, you look into more radical humanist and then radical structuralist, okay? So you combine these two, you are going to do some radical change in your research when you look into the human factor and also how the structure is in an organization. If you are more a subjectivist person, you look into the human side, but more interpretive. So interpretive meaning that it's more based on your assumptions, your belief, and also how you view, okay, how you view the issues personally, okay? So it is interpretive, how each person views different things will be different. So it will be subjective. So if you are more towards regulation type of research, okay, how you interpret it, but you must relate to the function, okay, of the organizations, and you can become a regulation paradigm approach. But if you're more on the objectivist paradigm, okay, you go for the structure and also the function of a research. So let's look at the philosophical positions that are in the research onion. So we will look into positivism, critical realism, interpretism, postmodernism, and pragmatism. Okay, so there are 5 management philosophies. So if you look into the research onion, okay, it is the outer layer, okay, the outer layer of the onion. Okay, let's have a look at the research onion in your textbook, okay, on page 130. So you look at the outer layer, so there's a positivism, critical realism, interpretism, postmodernism, and also pragmatism. So the first one will be positivism. So positivism is usually related to a positivist approach of research, whereby you use statistical data, objective data. So if you look into positivism, it's more on answering the question yes or no, whether there is this situation or not, okay? So for critical realism, okay, it's looking to the explaining what we see, what we experience, okay? We would like to look into the underlying structures of reality that shape the observable events, okay? All right, so there is a link there, so you can have a look at the link if you open your slide, okay? So in terms of interpretism, it is more on the subjective approach, okay? So when you want to do some interviews, okay, maybe observation, okay, focus group type of research, when you want to ask the opinions of people. So this emphasizes on the humans. They are different in terms of their opinions, okay. In terms of postmodernism, okay, so this looks into the role of language, the role of power relation, okay, and it's usually related to the current scenario, how currently people view certain situations differently, okay? So how to give thinking, give voice to alternative or marginalized view. So previously, the postmodernism research is, for example, focusing on feminism research and so on. But nowadays, we also have a lot of new issues that are rising now. In terms of pragmatism, okay, if you can see pragmatism, it is more on the reality of a pragmatist, okay? So this is a combination of positivism and also interpretism, okay? So usually it is where researchers do mixed method, okay? So they will use this type of philosophy. Okay, now we are going to look at approaches to theory development. Okay, so approaches to theory development, whereby we will look into the second layer of the research onion. Okay, so if you look at your second layer of your research onion, there's deduction, okay, deduction, induction, and also abduction. So when you have chosen your philosophy, for example, okay, so there are certain philosophies that are suitable with certain theory development. Okay, for example, positivism is here, okay. Okay, in terms of induction is interpretism, and abduction is pragmatism. Okay, critical realism, and also postmodernism. Okay, so critical realism and postmodernism can also be here and here, but usually this type of these two usually is in abduction, because they need to prove the theories by looking into objective data and also subjective interpretation from the human. Okay, in my own opinion, for PSM, the most suitable one is either deduction or induction, positivism, interpretism, pragmatism, okay, and abduction, okay. But for this is for PSM, yeah. Okay, for PSM, only these three, in my opinion, are suitable philosophies for PSM. Okay, for critical realism and postmodernism, you need more time to approach this type of philosophy. Okay. So in terms of how you want to reflect on and articulate your own philosophical position, how do you want to know whether this is the right philosophical approach or theory development approach from my research? Okay, so you need to look into a few issues. So for example, you need to have more informed decisions about the research design. Whether you like it or not, you have to read. You have to read about the philosophies, the different approach. So if you look at your textbook, okay, there's a table that differentiates this assumption types. For example, you have to look at table 4.1, okay, in the textbook, and there's also another table that differentiates, yeah, differentiates all of the philosophical position. It's table 4.3, page 144. Okay, so you can look at this table and try to understand, yeah, give a better understanding in terms of which to look into. All right, and there's also table 4.4, okay, page 153. Okay, the different in terms of deduction, induction, and abduction, how this differs from each other and how you can choose the right one. Okay, so after you have looked into the chapter and have a good read about it, so think about the strategies that will work for you and your research topic. That is why I have to ask you to do and think of your research topic in the past 2 weeks. Okay, and then you can adapt your design to cater any of the constraints. For example, the previous 2 weeks, maybe you have think of a good research topic, but now you are looking into the methodology. You can still adjust to adapt your research design. Okay, and how you want to do it. Okay, so now let's have like a very simple example. Okay, so this is a very simple example, so you can just try and do this. Okay, you can pause this video, okay, and answer each of these questions, okay, whether you agree, disagree, or don't know the answer to the particular statements that are given here. You need to have an opinion for each statement. Okay, so after you have answered each statement, you can unpause this video and I will let you know what type of philosophy that is suitable for you. So you can pause the video now. Okay, so I assume that you have answered all of the statements that are given. Okay, so for your information, this is taken from the internet, and it is actually more biased towards the quantitative research method. Okay, so if you have majority of agree, okay, so if you have majority of agrees, so then your research philosophy will be positivism. Okay, so if a lot of your answers are disagree, so this will be inductive. If you have a lot of don't know, you are abductive. Okay, this one is deductive. Yeah, inductive, abductive. This one is deductive. Okay, so in terms of your approach, okay, sorry, in terms of your philosophy, this will be interpretism, and this will be pragmatism. Okay, so this is pragmatism. However, if it is the same, there are two similar values. Okay, for example, you have 4 positivism, 4 agree and 4 disagree. So you need to maybe look back at the statements and rethink in terms of relating it back to your topic, okay, or your research topic. But this one is just a very surface type of diagnosis. Okay, so if you want to go for in-depth, okay, you have to do the hard reflective tool. Okay, so hard reflective tool is in page 161, and you can do that. Okay, take some time. Okay, you have to be very focused. Think of your topic, your research objective and research question, okay? Have a very good understanding on what you want to do with the topic first, and then only approach the half reflective tool and answer all the questions based on your research topic and what you are going to do, okay? And at the end of the half reflective tool, okay, you can get an idea what type of philosophy or research approach or research design that is suitable for your topic. So you can have a look at that, and you need to do that when you have a very clear mindset about what your topic is about. So everyone, that's all for chapter 4, and I hope that you will read the chapter 4 together with viewing this video. Okay, good luck in deciding on your research philosophy. Okay, so we will see you in the next video for me to explain a little bit more on chapter 5. See you, bye-bye, take care.